Get? Welcome student. So in last lecture we have learned about gametogenesis, spermatogenesis, then oogenesis. Now in this lecture we are going to study the structure of male and female gamete, that is sperm and ovum. So first of all, we will learn about structure of sperm. Now this is also called as male gamete. In sperm, if we see the figure of sperm, it is like this approximately, in which we can divide in four groups or four parts. This sperm is divided into four parts. First is head region, then second is neck, third one is mitochondria, or that is also called as middle piece. That is called as middle piece. Then fourth one is tail piece. So like this sperm is divided into four parts. Now we will see the structure here. This part is head region. This part is the head region, which is the anterior most part of the sperm. Now in this head region, this is acrosome. Now here, this is neck region. Here again, this is the nucleus. So mainly two parts are included into head region, that is acrosome and nucleus. Now this is the neck region here. In neck region there is presence of centriole, that is proximal centriole and distal centriole. There are two centrioles here. This is proximal centriole. Proximal centriole, and this lower one is distal centriole. This is distal centriole. Then this is the middle piece here. In middle piece there is presence of mitochondria, spiral mitochondria. And from here it is a tail region. Now this tail region again is divided. This is the principal piece. And this is the end piece. Now here we can see that here plasma membrane is present from both sides, and this plasma membrane gets tapered down, and at the end piece there is no covering of plasma membrane. So the tail region is divided into two parts. So such is the structure of sperm. Now we will see one by one. First, head region, acrosome. What is the role of acrosome, or what actually is acrosome? Acrosome has a very important role during the fertilization process, because this acrosome hydrolytic enzyme secretes hydrolytic enzyme, proteolytic enzyme, then corona penetrating enzymes, then zona lysine enzyme. Such enzymes are produced by acrosome, and due to the activity of these enzymes, the head region or the sperm penetrates into ovum. The head region penetrates the egg apparatus or the ovum. So acrosome has many much more important role. Such as, suppose we will take the hydrolytic enzyme, hyaluronidase enzyme, which is hydrolytic. It dissolves the wall of the sperm of ovum, that is corona radiata. First of all, at the outside of ovum, there is a layer of corona radiata. This corona radiata wall is dissolved. Then, at inside it, there is zona pellucida. This zona pellucida wall, on this wall also, the enzymes which are present or which are secreted by acrosome has a role. So, acrosome plays an important role for the entry of sperm into ovum. So this is acrosome. Then the nucleus. This nucleus, when it enters, the head region, when it enters into the egg apparatus or the ovum, this nucleus turns into pronucleus, and this pronucleus and female pronucleus get unite, and there is a mixing of genetic material. And it has also one set of chromosome, and ovum has also one set of chromosome. So their pairing happens, and there is a slight variations in the offspring and between the offspring and between the parents. So, nucleus. Then neck region. In neck region there are two centrioles. Upper one is called as proximal centriole, and lower one is called as what? Distal centriole. Now this proximal centriole, if we see the structure of ovum, centriole is absent in it. The centriole is introduced by the sperm into the ova. Means that a diploid cell which is formed after the fertilization, we need in this cell, particular cell of that is zygote, the centriole is introduced. This centriole, and this centriole, proximal centriole, also produces the spindle cell, and also has a role for the first division. The zygote which is formed, in it two cells are formed by division. They are called as blastomeres, and this proximal centriole has a role into it. So proximal centriole is also an important structure. Then comes distal centriole. From the distal centriole, tail apparatus is formed. The tail formation is due to the distal centriole. So distal centriole has also an important role, because this tail, you will see the function later on. Then comes the next structure, that is middle piece. In middle piece there is spiral mitochondria present. Now we know that mitochondria are called as powerhouse, because these sperm, when through ejaculation, when male ejaculated the sperm or semen into the vagina, from vagina this sperm has to travel to the follicle. So it needs energy, because for the energy production, mitochondria plays important role. It provides what? It provides energy for swimming. So mitochondria also plays an important role. Then next structure, that is tail region. This tail region again divided into two parts, that is principal piece and end piece. On principal piece there is a plasma membrane attached, but at the end piece there is no plasma membrane. So this tail, what is the role of this tail? This tail has a whiplash movement. Due to the movement of this tail, the sperm moves toward the uterus, moves from uterus to uterine tube, that is fallopian tube. In fallopian tube, it reaches to ampular region. In ampular region, there is a fertilization process. So, after this, for this movement of the sperm, this tail plays important role. So, such is the structure of sperm, that is the male gamete. That is the male gamete. So this is the structure. Now we will study the next point, that is structure of ovum. Structure of ovum. Now if you see the structure of ovum, and do you know the ovum is the biggest cell in human being. Ovum is the biggest cell in the human being, and it is present in females. This is the vitelline membrane. Outside the vitelline membrane, there is zona pellucida. There is again one layer that is called as what? Zona pellucida. This is a layer of zona pellucida. Then outside the zona pellucida, there is a layer of corona radiata. There is a layer of corona radiata cells. And if you see in ovum, the vitelline membrane, in vitelline membrane there is a space. There is a space. That space is called as perivitelline space. The space is called as perivitelline space. And in this perivitelline space, the first polar body is present. First polar body is present. In last lecture we have seen gametogenesis. In gametogenesis we have seen the first meiotic division of the primary oocyte, and when from primary oocyte two cells are formed that are haploid. One is secondary oocyte and the other one is first polar body. And again there is a meiosis second, and in meiosis second from primary oocyte, secondary oocyte, again there is a division, and in this division we find that second polar body is also formed and ovum is also formed. But this ovum, a particular ovum structure is arrested at secondary oocyte state. Meiosis second is arrested. But when meiosis second is completed, meiosis second gets completed when sperm enters into ovum. Then and then it gets stimulation, and after the stimulation of secondary oocyte, meiosis second is completed, and after meiosis second is completed, then and then a true ovum is formed. A true ovum is formed, and true ovum, when it is formed, when sperm enters into ovum. When sperm enters into ovum. So this is corona radiata. Corona radiata cell of corona radiata. This is zona pellucida. Zona pellucida. This is vitelline membrane. This is vitelline membrane. This space is perivitelline space. Perivitelline space. And this is germinal vesicles. Germinal vesicle, which turns into what? Nucleus. It is rudely also called as nucleus. So, such is the structure of ovum. Outside the ovum, which cells are formed? There is a layer of cells. That is called as what? Corona radiata. That is also called as what? Corona radiata. Then inside the corona radiata, there is a layer of cells. That is called as what? Zona pellucida. That is called as zona pellucida. Then inside the zona pellucida, there is a layer. That layer is, there is a membrane. That is called as what? Vitelline membrane. That is called as what? Vitelline membrane. In between the zona pellucida and vitelline membrane, there is a space, little space. That space is called as what? Perivitelline space. That is called as what? Perivitelline space. And inside the vitelline membrane, in this space, that is called as the ooplasm. This space is called as what? Ooplasm. In ooplasm, there is a germinal vesicle. There is a germinal vesicle, and this germinal vesicle turns into female pronucleus after sperm enters into the ovum. So, such is the structure of ovum, female gamete. Such is the structure of female gamete. So, we will see the next point, fertilization or syngamy. Fertilization or syngamy. Also it is called as karyogamy. Karyogamy. What is karyogamy? Karyon means nucleus. When there is a fusion of nucleus, then there is called as karyogamy. Both the nucleuses of gametes unite, so it is called as karyogamy. In syn means what? Fuse, to close. So it is called as syngamy. Fertilization, when there is a union, when there is a fusion of male and female gametes. It is called as fertilization. So, in fertilization, if you see, after the fertilization, zygote is formed, and from zygote, embryo is formed. So, we will see in this mechanism of fertilization. Mechanism of fertilization. If you see, when the semen is ejaculated in the vagina, it is into frozen form. It is in frozen form. This frozen form or this coagulated semen get liquefied in vagina due to the various secretions that are present in vagina. Due to the various secretion that is present in vagina. So, after this, there is a movement of the sperm. There is a movement of the sperm from vagina to uterus, from vagina to cervix, cervix to uterus, uterus to fallopian tube, and in fallopian tube it reaches to the ampular region. So we will see that mainly there are 4 steps. Mainly there are 4 steps. First of all, entry of sperm. Entry of sperm. Entry of sperm. First of all, movement. Movement of sperm. Movement of sperm. Movement of sperm towards A. Towards A. Then second one is entry of sperm in A. Then third one is activation of ovum. Activation of ovum. And fourth one is fusion. Fusion of egg and ovum. Fusion of sperm and ovum. Or the fusion of pronucleases. Fusion of pronucleases. Pronucleases of sperm and ova. Sperm and ovum. So the mechanism of fertilization is completed mainly into 4 steps. What happens if this is a ovum? This ovum is present into fallopian tube. When it is released at the 14th day after menstrual cycle begins, at 14th day the ovary, Graafian follicle splits or get burst, and this ovum or secondary oocyte is released, and this secondary oocyte is captured by the fimbriae, and through ostia it reaches up to the ampular region. Then secondly, if there is a fertilization process on 13th day or in 14th day, when there is a mating between male and female, the sperm is introduced into the vagina. Sperm is introduced or ejaculated into the vagina of the female. Then this sperm has to be moved at the ampular region. So first of all, after ejaculation, this sperm from vagina moves towards the egg apparatus. From vagina it enters into the external walls of cervix, then into internal walls of cervix, then through cervix it enters fallopian tube. So there is a movement, and this movement is helped by the tail movement. Also the tail which is present to the sperm is used for this process, used for the swimming process. Then again other parts also, for example the uterine cells. These uterine cells also has a contraction, and due to the effect of prostaglandin they have a contraction, and this uterine contraction, due to this uterine contraction and fallopian tubes contraction, this sperm moves towards the egg apparatus. This sperm moves towards the egg apparatus. But for this movement, when these sperms are introduced into vagina, 50% of the sperms are destroyed, demolished. The walls are because the inactive, we know that in a semen of 3 to 4 ml of semen, there are about 300 to 400 millions of sperms. and only one sperm is required for the fertilization of egg apparatus. So what happens in this vagina, near about 50% of the total sperms are destroyed. Then the remaining 50% undergoes capacitation. They undergoes capacitation. They undergoes capacitation, and this undergo capacitation. Capacitation means what? There is some physiological changes happen, and this sperm's ability to swim, to fertilize egg is increased. Their ability is increased. For mortality is also increased. Then their capacity is also increased. They need energy for swimming. It is provided by mitochondria, but there are some physiological changes. And due to these physiological changes, they have an ability. Their ability to reach up to the fallopian tube increases. What happens? It increases, and that process is known as what? Capacitation. That process is known as what? Capacitation. So due to the prostaglandin, the sperms are activated, vestibular secretions, then contraction of uterus and fallopian tube. This sperm moves toward the ovum. This sperm moves toward the ovum. So suppose this is the ovum here. Corona radiata, then inside it. Zona polysuda. This is zona polysuda. So sperm enters here, sperm reaches many more sperms. Only one sperm reaches. That is not point. Many more sperms reaches to this ovum. So at this time, what happens? For entry of sperm, the acrosome which is present at the tip of the sperm secretes hydrolytic enzyme, that is hyaluronidase enzyme. Then proteolytic enzyme zonalysin, then the corona penetrating enzymes are also secreted by this acrosome, and due to this effect of acrosome, what happens? It reaches up to this layer. It reaches up to the zona pellucida. Then after reaching the zona pellucida, that particular layer has an one protein that is called as fertilizing protein. And the sperm head has an anti-fertilizing protein, and this fertilizing and anti-fertilizing reacts with each other. There is a interaction between fertilizing and anti-fertilizing, and therefore due to this effect of this reaction, this sperm head enters the vitelline membrane, and the tail region it detached from it. The tail region it detached from it. Only the head of the sperm enters. So in such way, this sperm head enters the egg apparatus. Then the third step, that is activation of ovum. When the sperm head touches the vitelline membrane, then there is a stimulation. For germinal epithelium. Vesicle, and this germinal vesicle is turned into female pronucleus. When this happens, when the sperm touches to vitelline membrane. This sperm touches to vitelline membrane. So there is because when this at this stage, what happens? The meiosis second is arrested because at this stage, this is not called as a worm. When it is called as worm, when this sperm touches and the meiosis second is completed. Meiosis second is completed, it is arrested while in oogenesis. And at this stage, when sperm head touches the vitelline membrane, what happens? This stage meiosis second is completed, and meiosis second is completed. Then this pronucleus, then from germinal vesicle, pronucleus is formed, and this is the true worm structure because meiosis second is completed. Up to meiosis second arrested stage, that particular structure of worm is called as secondary oocyte. It is called as secondary oocyte. So there is an activation of ovum. Then after this activation, what happens when vitelline membrane, through vitelline membrane, this sperm head enters the ooplasm, and when it enters the ooplasm, this vitelline membrane of perivitelline space get activated, and it forms a layer around it. A layer is formed so that other sperm cannot enter the ooplasm. Other sperm should not enter the ooplasm. So the route to entry to the ooplasm is completely stopped to avoid polyspermy. So this perivitelline space stops the entry of the other sperm. So after this sperm, this head has a pronucleus. This pronucleus and this pronucleus get fused, and after this fusion, a zygote is formed. And in this zygote, there is a mixing of the genetic material of female pronucleus and male pronucleus. There is a fusion of male pronucleus and female pronucleus, and in such way, zygote is formed, and from zygote, the embryo is formed. So in this way, if we see the fertilization mechanism happens. Then the next point we will see. That is significance of fertilization. In significance, if we see, a worm structure is formed from secondary oocyte. Ovum is formed. Then diploid stage is restored. Then centriole is introduced. Because it lacks centriole, it is introduced by the sperm. Then sex is determined. Sex is determined by the fertilization process. Then again there are variations, and due to this variation there is evolution. Evolution process is there because of this variation. Variation means the difference between the parent and offspring, or the difference between among the offspring. This is called as variation, and it is due to the fertilization, because in both gametes there are only one set present, and when this one set to both the sets get united, then there is a variation. Some genetic variation is there, and this genetic variation after many years, many decades, leads to the evolution process. So this is the significance of fertilization, because if we see, if there is no fertilization, then secondary oocyte is not converted into ovum, because during the fertilization process, when the sperm enters in the ovum, the secondary oocyte in which meiosis second is arrested or at metaphase state, this meiosis second is completed. So by this completion, then secondary oocyte forms ovum. Then diploid stage is restored. We know that both male gamete and female gamete are haploid. These haploid ones get united and diploid one is formed, and diploid state, that is 2n state or 46 chromosome state of a human is maintained. Then centriole, which is present in sperm, enters the ovum, lacks the centriole, so centriole is introduced in, and centriole has a role in the division process, because centriole is introduced in the ovum. Then sex is determined. Sex is determined during the fertilization, because if fertilization does not happen, then how sex will be determined, because when there is a union, between the when there is a process of mixing of chromosome, then sex chromosome which they get mixed. If X unites with Y, and if X unites with X, if X unites with X, then there is a daughter child. If X unites with Y, then there is a male child. So sex is determined, and there are variations. So in such way we have seen the fertilization process. In next lecture we will see how division of zygote takes place. Thanks.